Welcome to Tuesday. You are watching CBC News BC. I'm Dan Burwood in the Vancouver newsroom. Let's get you up to date. The BC Wildfires Service says the risk of lightning in parts of the BC interior is expected to create high potential for new fires. The forecast also calls for gusty winds as the system moves through the province. Clear skies overnight did not help crews fighting the Bald Range wildfire near Summerland. There are nearly 200 personnel on the ground fighting that blaze. It's now mapped at more than 184 square kilometers. Thousands of people in that area remain out of their homes, and there's no word yet when it might be safe enough for them to return. We are expecting an update from Premier David Eby. He'll be speaking from Penticton at 3:15 this afternoon. CBC News will carry that live on radio and online. The district near Summerland is triaging temporary re-entry requests for critical purposes only. The mayor is also making an emotional plea to residents.
We can't lose sight of who we are. We need to keep helping each other. And when we do get back, we need to brace ourselves for what's there or what's not there. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. We all know people right now. We all know people who have lost homes. We all have friends who have lost homes. And those people will need our help. We can't have any infighting. We can't start laying blame. We need to just pull together as the community we are and get through this, and we will.
Penticton RCMP, meanwhile, are asking for anyone's help identifying anything suspicious they saw on Friday, the night the fire started. Police suggest the public not to speculate, though, about the cause of the fire. NASA says it is researching a type of cloud it describes as one of the least understood forms of severe weather on Earth. It's flying planes over BC's wildfires to better understand the pyrocumulonimbus clouds generated by large fires. NASA's aircraft flew from Montana to the area above Clinton on Saturday, where the Pear Lake fire continues to burn. Officials say the fire created those clouds that are formed by extreme smoke and heat, which can also generate rain and lightning. NASA says measuring and mapping the dangerous storms as they develop will help scientists forecast them in the future. Police in Surrey say a shooting early this morning in Cloverdale appears to be targeted, but they don't believe it's connected to extortion. It happened just before 4 o'clock. 2 men were injured outside a home on near 60th Avenue and 177th Street. 1 man suffered a minor injury, and the suspects fled. Investigators would like to speak with any witnesses or anyone with dashcam video. And a longtime East Broadway diner says it will close its doors for good later this month. The owner of Fable Diner blames lease terms and the impacts of the Broadway subway construction. Neil Wiles says Fable is one of several businesses forced to close because of the massive project, which has seen major delays and road closures. The Broadway extension started in 2020 and has seen major delays, though the road in front of Fable has reopened. The province says it does not provide financial compensation or grants to businesses impacted by public infrastructure projects. It's expected to be completed by next fall. You are up to date on CBC News BC. Thank you for watching. For news at any time and more on these top stories, stay with us. CBC News, cbc.ca/BC. Again, the Premier will be speaking at 3:15 p.m. We will take that live across our platforms on CBC. BC Today with Michelle Elliott is up next. Stick around.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. The Bald Range fire is still burning near Summerland, and with other fires as well as air quality warnings in place across southern BC, how are wildfires impacting BC tourism? How is your own livelihood being affected? We'll talk to the Penticton and Wine Country Chamber of Commerce, and we'd like to hear from you on the open line. After 12:30, something totally different. Gen Z and millennials, people under 45, are apparently embracing sewing. We'd love to hear why you love to sew your own clothes. That's after 12:30. I'm Michelle Elliott. Welcome to BC Today. And coming up this afternoon at 3:15, Premier David Eby will give an update on the wildfires from Penticton, along with Kelly Green, the Minister of Emergency Management and Climate Readiness, and Amelia Boltby, the MLA for Penticton Summerland. And we will have coverage of that for you live here on CBC. Again, coming up at 3:15 this afternoon. Wildfires do continue to burn across the province. More than 20,000 people remain under evacuation order as of last night. Tourists have been asked to stay away from the Okanagan, and off-road vehicles are now banned on Crown land in some parts of BC. Now, these wildfires are certainly hard on people and families throughout the province. They also, though, have economic impact. And we'd like to hear from you now, in particular when it comes to tourism. How is wildfire season affecting BC's tourist industry? If you are in the southern interior and work and live there, here, is it affecting your livelihood? And how are you thinking these days about outdoor recreation in BC? Love to hear from you. Our numbers are 604-669-3733, 1-800-825-5950. Again, 604-669-3733 or 1-800-825-5950. Joining me now is Michael Magnuson. He's the Penticton and Wine Country Chamber of Commerce's Executive Director. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Michelle.
First, I'll ask you how you're feeling these days in Penticton.
Oh, yeah, it's a range of emotions. Gratitude for all the firefighters that are here from across the country and Mexico, Australia. It's the amount of effort going in to protect the community of Summerland is huge. And those volunteers and your everyday resident just looking to pitch in wherever they can to help those evacuees that have come down here and are staying with us for the foreseeable future. We really don't know when anybody will be allowed to go back home.
That's right. And, you know, something I've heard from evacuees being interviewed from Summerland in Penticton, expressing just how grateful they are for being welcomed in, and as well people in Penticton, you know, saying we've seen this, right? Everybody knows someone who's been affected, and so they just want to help. I mean, is that the sense that you're getting?
That's exactly the sense. It's very uplifting. Humanity, for whatever reason, really shows its best parts during a tragedy like this. We know people have lost their homes. We know that farms have been affected. There's a lot of grief and a lot of vicarious grief at a time like this. But I think that really mobilizes people's hearts to want to go out and help however we can, whether it's through your business, your organization, or just you as a resident of the South Okanagan.
How are businesses doing?
It depends on who you speak with. Obviously, anybody that is tourism related, whether that's a tourism operator, maybe a boat rental company, an amusement area, those kind of things. They're a restaurant, craft brewery, winery. They've all seen their numbers fall dramatically. And of course, that's to be expected. We certainly want our hotel rooms available for those that are evacuated, and we're starting to see people getting into those hotels now that they've gone through the ESS process, which is great. So they can have a little bit of stability between now and the time that they can get back home. But certainly anybody that relies on that uptick in tourism this time of year will certainly feel, a hit. But nobody is upset about that, because the reason is obvious. And we all know that this could be us on the other side. We might have a business in Penticton, but What if we had a home in Summerland? So there's a lot of understanding that goes into this. And a lot of those businesses are looking at ways of helping. So they're not worried about their bottom line right now or anything like that. They're looking at how can I help those that are impacted by this wildfire?
So it's a sense of having that perspective. Given in this case, they're not immediately affected, and at the same time, it's like all hands on deck right now when it comes to helping.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
overall, can you tell me a bit more about that downturn, though? How they're feeling about, year after year, it seems tourism is affected in the Okanagan.
Absolutely. It's no secret within our community that we look at July now as our high season, and our numbers reflect that, whether it's in visitation numbers or our cash flow. It
Instead of
certainly
August.
instead of August, yes, August is now sort of what September emulates. It used to be August as our highest season, but over the past few years, it certainly turned into July. And what you'll hear from the hotel operators is people don't actually book their hotel rooms in August until about a week in advance, because they want to see what the region is doing. So that's where you'll see that the market has certainly adapted to, year after year, sort of these incidents of wildfires, whether it's here in the South Okanagan or the Central Okanagan. As much as I would love for these to be a natural disaster of the past, we know that we have large forests, and we know that there's a variety of ways that these fires get caused, lightning being the most difficult to predict, and in sometimes some of the hardest places to go and fight that fire. And unfortunately, we still have human-caused fires as well, which are completely preventable, but continue to happen. So there's certainly more education that needs to happen and more fire smarting, especially those that are on the edge of communities or in rural areas. We really need to fire smart our properties and find out how to encourage property owners to fire smart those properties.
Let me put out our numbers again. We're asking how are the BC wildfires affecting the tourism industry in BC? And that is an industry that is so important, in particular to the Okanagan. I'd love to hear from you if you're someone who works in the industry, are reliant on tourists in the summertime. You can give us a call, 604-669-3733, 604-669-3733, or 1-800-825-5950. Our email is bctoday@cbc.ca. And if you're also rethinking, if there's a shift in your thinking about outdoor recreation in British Columbia, we know now that there is a ban on recreational off-road vehicles on Crown land in several fire centers, a call to ban visiting the backcountry. We talked about that yesterday. What are your thoughts when it comes to outdoor recreation, just enjoying the province? Is that shifting amid wildfires as well? 604-669-3733, 1-800-825-5950. My guest is Michael Magnuson, the Executive Director of the Penticton and Wine Country Chamber of Commerce. And Michael, wineries as well, certainly so important to that local economy. What's the impact on local vineyards?
Yeah, we are seeing tasting rooms that are closing temporarily, because they're not getting the customers in as expected, and also will allow their employees, whether they go on EI for a little bit or what have you, it will stop the bleed a little bit financially. We don't know what the impact will be to this year's vintage, and certainly depending on where your vineyards are in relation to this fire and in relation to where the smoke has been settling. So there's a lot of unknowns, but businesses, including wineries, are taking steps to staunch some of the financial bleed in terms of the loss of traction in revenue generation.
What are some of the steps businesses are taking? As you said, they're now thinking that the season is earlier, right? The peak season is going to be earlier in July. What are some of those adaptations that wineries and others are taking?
Yeah, we're really seeing the marketing applied for late June and throughout July, and August is sort of, you want to build up that momentum, but August, I think a lot of people when they do their budgets now are budgeting for an event such as this, so that they're not taken unawares if something like this does happen, whether it's a full-blown evacuation where, we're absorbing people, or, in a future year, it could be us that's impacted and Summerland welcoming us. We don't know, but businesses prepare for these tragedies that happen, and we're certainly seeing that August is one of our, in terms of the summer, it's the slower month when compared to July. And even September, we're seeing more outdoor activity in our region just because the weather's a little bit cooler. So you're going to see your mountain bikers come. Kelowna has their marathon in the fall. So we have more adventure tourism that picks up in September. So there is a shift in the market, and August is more, if you come, we have a place for you. We have our beaches, but we don't see as many festivals in August anymore. Of course, Ironman, which was a signature August event for Penticton in the South Okanagan, moved east to Ottawa, so we don't have that at the end of the month. So you are seeing small changes, but it's more of a reallocation of events for the most part, moving into July rather than losing it altogether.
Is there anything policy-wise that you think should be addressed?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. One, we have a secondary route that is in really rough shape right now for Penticton residents to get to Kelowna. And of course, Penticton is an urban center, but most of our healthcare is based in Kelowna, as are our suppliers. And right now, to take a bit of a long route, we would have to go down to Soyuz, over to Rock Creek, and then up Highway 33 to come out at the north end of Kelowna. You can shave some time off if you take the Forest Service Road 201, but we are getting a lot of reports that it's in rough shape. So you have motorists that are going up there in residential vehicles or your average sedan, and now you're blowing a tire, or you need to be rescued yourself. And of course, that heightens the prospect or the threat of a wildfire up that way too. So it's certainly concerning. It's not the best route, so we would love to see a secondary route that is maintained throughout the year for instances such as these, and we're seeing them more and more, whether it's a landslide on our highway, a wildfire, or a security incident, or maybe a very serious accident. The other thing for us is just wildfire mitigation. We would love to see more mitigation in the off season, so that if we have a lightning strike, if we have a human-caused fire, that they don't have the ability to spread as far and as quickly as we've seen. And of course, this fire in particular spread so fast. There was no way of getting control of it once it started. I mean, to go from 50 hectares to 5,000 hectares, now up to 17,000 hectares in less than a week, right beside a township is, not only is it unheard of in any memory that I have, but it's absolutely dangerous. It's dangerous to those that were evacuated with very little time, and even more dangerous for those that stay behind wanting to protect their farms and their livestock and cattle.
So fire smarting throughout the year and increasing access, additional roads. Something we've heard about, of course, with other fires as well. I know that came up on Vancouver Island a couple of years ago. Let's take a call now. Let's take a call. My guest, Michael Magnuson, is the Executive Director of the Penticton and Wine Country Chamber of Commerce, asking you, how are wildfires affecting BC tourism? 604-669-3733, 1-800-825-5950. Heather is joining us actually from Vancouver Island in Victoria. Hi, Heather.
Oh, hi, Michelle.
Hi, and thank you very much for calling in. What are your thoughts about, the impact on the economy when it comes to wildfires?
Well, first of all, I wanted to ask your guest, Michael, a question about the fire smarting that he's talking about. It seems so much more productive to be sort of preemptive, and I wondered if there were any, or if anybody's even talked about any grants, either provincial or federal, that would help homeowners do that fire smarting, because I can't imagine it's cheap. Just like, making your house sort of more green, right? And so I just wonder if there are any grants, or if anybody has ever talked about it in either the provincial government or the federal government, because they must spend a fortune every year fighting these fires.
Yeah, great question, Heather. Thank you very much. Yeah, what do you know about any supports for fire smarting for private homes and businesses?
Yeah, I agree with you, Heather. We are not aware of any grants, but that's certainly something that we're going to be pushing for. And whenever you're in a rural area, you'll notice that there's certainly old buildings that are still up, and unfortunately, those are the ones that really feed a fire. So if you have an old barn that should have been torn down years ago, or an old shed or garage, you're right, it's very costly to demolish that and timely. But if we did incentivize it in some way, this could potentially spread or prevent the spread of these wildfires into the more urban core of any community. So I think we need to look at how to subsidize fire smarting these properties, especially on the peripheral of a community.
Okay. There may be some rebates available, according to the BC government website, to homeowners who live in participating communities who take action to protect their home against wildfire. That is just a brief statement from the BC government website. But it is a conversation. I know we've been getting some emails as well from people saying, okay, we live on an acreage. There's so much bush around. It's going to take quite a number of people, even just power and a workforce to actually clear that. What about help for being able to do that? So that's a really interesting question when it comes to fire smarting, supports for people to be able to do that. 604-669-3733, 1-800-825-5950, asking you, what is the impact from wildfires on BC's tourism industry, and just how we think about how we recreate in BC during the summer. 604-669-3733, 1-800-825-5950. Now, this situation has caused certainly uncertainty for business owners. And here's a comment from the mayor of Peachland, Patrick Van Minsel.
I'm in constant contact with the EOC and with my CEO who is there. And they give me updates on a regular basis. And then I give those updates immediately to my residents. So when I know, within 5 minutes, they know. I think it's very important that you keep them updated with the situation, what's going on. And even if there's no update, you tell them, look, for the time being, everything is the same, there's no update. At least they got an answer to that. But again, I will ask them to be patient, and I thank them to be patient. They're working very hard on this one.
That's Peachland Mayor Patrick Van Minsel. Michael, what do you think of that? What needs to be done when it comes to communication so that there's clarity and at least some certainty for business owners?
For sure. You never want to have a communication void, because people will start inserting their own thoughts or their own hypotheses into it, and we see that on social media. So the more communication is from those in leadership positions, it's absolutely crucial, because we're taking our cues from that. So the mayor of Peachland's absolutely correct, and I think the RDOS and Eric in particular has done a fantastic job of just leaving his camera rolling, live streaming, even if he's just working on the computer. People feel like they're a part of it, and there's a lot of nervous energy right now. So if you have a business in Penticton, you're almost blessed, because you get to put that nervous energy towards something. You can focus on something. But for the evacuees, they're waiting for any information, anything that they can get. So the less of a void, the better it is, certainly for everybody's mental health, and just sort of preparing for, okay, is it coming? And when I get to go home, what are the next steps in that? And for those of us here in Penticton, we want our efforts to continue. When people go home, we don't want to make that the goodbye. We want to be, now how can we help in your community? How can we help you clean up? How can we help you get back on your feet? Nobody really knows what they'll be walking back into yet. So we just want to make sure that we as an organization, and many organizations here, we'll follow them back into Summerland and continue to be that support to get everybody back on their feet.
You were referring to Eric Thompson there with the
Yes.
regional district of the Okanagan Similkameen, yes, providing live updates online. Let me go to Gary in Chilliwack, who wants to make a comment about the Fire Smart program. Hi, Gary.
Hi. So my comment is just in regards to the previous caller who was asking about grants. I'm currently a Fire Smart advocate in a new BC Fire Smart program, which took over from the national program, and so now BC stands on its own. But even in the old national program, communities could get grants, and we've been receiving grants at a property we have in the Shuswap area for about 5 years now. And you just have to organize and become a Fire Smart collective is the new term in BC, and that's 50 properties or less. And you just basically use the BC Fire Smart website to get your information and then contact them, and you form basically a loose organization of up to 50 owners, and then they will provide you with materials and grants. And every year for the last 5 years, we've had the CSRD provide us with free large bin rentals, which are upwards of $1,000 to rent, and they've provided them for free. And we just organize volunteers to come and trim up trees and reduce the deadfall on the ground, and so we get a lot of our costs covered for that.
To organize as a BC Fire Smart collective. Gary, thank you so much for that call, and a great example over in Chilliwack, forming a BC Fire Smart collective and being able to obtain grants there. Thank you so much for your call. 604-669-3733. Michael, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That's Michael Magnuson, the Executive Director of the Penticton and Wine Country Chamber of Commerce. Some interesting emails here as well on this topic of tourism and the impact from the wildfires. We've heard about people shifting to visiting Vancouver Island in the summertime. We heard that from one of our guests yesterday because there would be less risk of smoke and fire. West Coast Wild and Free commented on TikTok, tourism on the island and South Coast is too high with everyone flooding here every summer due to fires. So interesting to see that comment when it comes to the influx of tourists this time of year. Thank you for that. Randy writes from Burnaby, if ever there was a one-sided argument existed for staycations, this is it. More people in vehicles in fire zones, so traveling through fire zones is probably a bad idea on several levels. Tourism is a luxury, not an entitlement. The obvious downturn in tourism revenues is another metric that should be viewed as the way things will be for the foreseeable future. Thank you very much for your email there, bctoday@cbc.ca. And on another topic that we talked about yesterday, the calls for banning visits to the backcountry altogether amid wildfires, Andy wrote us, it is a difficult decision to close the backcountry. However, with the current fire risks, it should be seriously considered. Thankful for the ban on recreational vehicles, but the directive should go further. Rossland is a very active community and also a member of the Resort Municipality Initiative, with both residents and visitors enjoying many outdoor sports and activities. However, we have hundreds of kilometers of forestry, roads, and trails in close proximity. With 3 fires close by, the risk is too high, and I'd support the closing of the backcountry. .30 now. You're with BC Today here on CBC. I'm Michelle Elliott. Thank you so much for joining us this Wednesday afternoon. Coming up in our next half hour, I will talk about something completely different now. Sewing. It is growing in popularity, a resurgence in sewing, especially among young people under 45, millennials, Gen Z folks. So we want to hear from you. Have you embraced sewing? Have you always loved sewing? Why do you love it? What do you get out of it? And let us know if you have any tips for someone starting out too. We'll take your calls coming up in our next half hour. That's after the CBC News Update. And here's Stephanie Mercier.
Good afternoon. In Summerland, officials say they are working on a re-entry plan and assessing the damage, but the Bald Range wildfire is still too active to allow residents to return. The fire has grown to more than 180 square kilometers. The regional district says power, water, waste disposal, and roads must all be restored before anyone moves back. Police in Surrey are investigating after a man was hurt in what they're calling a targeted early morning shooting. It happened near a home in the Cloverdale neighborhood. 2 people were fired at. The suspects fled. Police say they do not believe it is linked to extortion crimes. And a longtime Vancouver diner is closing, citing lease problems and the impact of the Broadway subway construction. Fable Diner says it will close for good later this month. The Mount Pleasant Business Improvement Association says it's just one of several businesses that have had to close because of the construction. It would like to see the province do more to support affected businesses. That's a look at the CBC News. Now looking at the BC weather. Along the north coast, clearing this afternoon. Risk of thunderstorms inland with a high of 18. For the Peace region, a few showers and the risk of thunderstorms, a high of 19. For the central interior, mainly sunny and up to 22. For the southeast, there is a severe thunderstorm watch and local smoke, a high of 19. For the southern interior, a yellow air quality warning and the risk of thunderstorms, a high of 27. And along the south coast, sunny and hazy today with a high of 24 to 27 degrees. That's a quick look at the BC weather. Now back to BC Today with Michelle Elliott.
You know, when I was talking about sewing, and I don't know if I've ever seen a news anchor light up the way I saw you.
I do like to sew. It is true.
I know you're one of our big crafters here in the CBC newsroom. I don't know. You're wearing a lovely scarf right now. Is that something you made by any chance?
It is. Yep. Yes,
See?
it is. It is quite.
I thought so.
Quite shiny.
It's very beautiful.
Thank you.
Any tips for someone starting out?
Be prepared for many frustrating moments.
Yeah.
Be prepared to rip it out. It's okay. There you go. That's my tip.
Use it as a rag or something.
Yep.
Lots to get through before you get to one you can actually wear.
Absolutely.
Okay, I get it. I'll take your hand-me-downs. I'll take your leftovers, your scraps, Stephanie.
Okay, sounds
anytime.
good.
Thank you very much. It's Stephanie Mercier in the CBC Vancouver newsroom. Yes, quite excited about our upcoming conversation when it comes to sewing. Lots of emails coming in still on wildfires in BC as well. And on the question of the backcountry, Ken wrote us, this closure is not new by any means. In Kelowna, all logging and access on Forest Service roads was implemented years ago. Unfortunately, with the proliferation of back roads and vehicles that can access them, it's gotten worse over the years. There are many that will continue to use their toys and ignore any rules employed to limit their freedom of use. Another Ken wrote us from Mayuk in East Kootenay, most laws remain on the books for long after the reasons for enacting them. These fire bans are initiated by people with bias and little appreciation for the impacts. There are many small business owners that will be hugely impacted if they relate to the tourism business. Visitors from Saskatchewan, Alberta, and the U.S. recreate in the backcountry in BC. They will not come for the rest of the season. Thank you for your emails. BC Today at cbc.ca. We are about to talk about sewing here on BC Today, and here's a clip of a TikTok made by Brooklyn Made.
Here is something that you can sew in under 30 minutes with scrap fabric, and you don't need a pattern. This is the perfect way to use up all of those scraps that you have that are like too big to throw away but too small to actually make something large out of. So you are going to need 4 rectangles of fabric.
Yes, 4 rectangles of fabric. That is a TikToker named Brooklyn Made. And if you go on TikTok, you can find lots of videos like that under the grouping, the hashtag SewTalk. Yes, sew, like SEW talk. And this is really growing in popularity. More people, especially millennials and Gen Zs, are taking up sewing. Globally, the sales of sewing machines are on the rise. And we'd love to pull on this thread, if you will. Do you love to sew, or have you taken up sewing yourself recently? Give us a call, 604-669-3733, 604-669-3733, or 1-800-825-5950. Our email is bctoday@cbc.ca. And if you are on TikTok, on So Talk, let us know. Drop a line in the comments section there. I'm pleased to welcome our guest, Marianne Webb, the Director of Education and Community Outreach at Our Social Fabric, and that's a nonprofit fabric store in Vancouver. Hello there.
Hi.
And I see that you have brought some lovely items with you.
I did. Yes, I did.
I'm sure Stephanie Mercier is just like zeroing in on those items. You got some denim shorts there and a couple of tops. First, tell me about the Our Social Fabric. What is it?
Our Social Fabric is a non-profit fabric store located here in Vancouver on Venables and Clark. We are collecting all the textile waste from the local industry and selling it back out to everybody across Canada. So we have an online and an in-person store. And we just believe in a future where no usable textiles ends up in the local landfills.
Okay, so you avoid that from happening.
Yes.
Prevent that from happening. And how do you collect your materials?
So most people reach out to us and we get them from lots of different places. So home sewers, so someone like me going through my collection and deciding that not going to use that fabric, I will bring it back to Our Social Fabric. Other ways are local manufacturers donate to us. So if there is a flaw in manufacturing a bunch of textiles, lots of times the end consumer will not purchase that material, and that is their right. If there's a color discrepancy, a mistake in the fabric, stuff like that, it gets donated to us, which is quite lovely. And because it's all beautiful, beautiful fabric.
Right, with one flaw. Tiny flaw.
A tiny flaw.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes the flaw is as simple as during manufacturing, they will make these big, giant bolts, like 300 meters of fabric, and they lay it out on a table. Think like you have a towel in your hand and you're folding it, so you lay it across the table.
Right.
And if that fabric sits for too long, it gets creases along it. And so the end consumer that's going to be cutting out these big, like patterns through multiple layers, they can't have creases in it. So some of that will come to us. And for a home sewer, we can easily take out a crease.
Yeah.
So,
and so tell me, when it comes to home sewers, are you seeing a resurgence?
yeah, we definitely have lots of people, like you said, the under 45. We see a lot of those coming into the store. I'm a home ec teacher with the Vancouver School Board, so I'm in the local schools. I'm a substitute teacher, which I really love doing. And I'm in the schools, and these kids are also, there is such a desire to learn, and everybody wants to pick up sewing and start being creative because they want to stand out. They want to be unique and have a little bit, we have the same genes, but I added a patch to mine.
Right. Oh, isn't that lovely? So if I were to ask you, what is behind this? What's driving this interest?
I think a lot of it is, we have TikTok and Instagram, and people are seeing all these trends and styles, and they want to stand out from that. I think a big part of it is. Another big aspect, I think, is the sustainability aspect of it. A lot of people are buying clothing from fast fashion, and it doesn't last as long, and they're disappointed in their purchases. So people are starting to be more mindful about where their clothes are coming from, who made it, which then leads them to perhaps creating it themselves.
Yeah, lovely. We already have a call here, and we're asking you, do you love sewing? Have you taken up sewing recently? There is a resurgence in sewing, especially with people under 45 years old. Love to hear from you if you've been interested. 604-669-3733, 1-800-825-5950. My guest is Marianne Webb from Our Social Fabric, which is a nonprofit fabric store in Vancouver. And Sarah is joining us from Kamloops, although I think you have bought fabric from Our Social Fabric, Sarah?
Yeah. Well, I used to live in Vancouver, and before I moved away, I made a stop at Our Social Fabric because I wanted to stock up.
You loaded up.
I did. And today I just happened to be sitting at my sewing machine working on a dress made out of this beautiful green merino wool jersey knit.
I'm very familiar with that fabric.
Yeah. And my kids are at school, in a daycare, and I thought today I'm gonna make my little T-shirt dress out of this merino wool. And the reason I am sewing today is because, I wanted something specific, and I wanted it made out of something that was sustainable and good fabric, good quality fabric. And I don't have a lot of time as a mom to be doing sewing. So when I am sewing, it's for ways that enrich my life. And I found that I ended up in this season of my life, most of the sewing I'm doing is in order to keep my kids' clothing alive a little bit longer. So I do a lot of patching and creative patching and visible mending. And today I was just lucky in that the fabric I picked up was from your place. So
and she knows it well, apparently.
I do. I have a purple one and a blue one underneath my feet too. So that'll be another dress later. Yeah.
A lovely T-shirt dress. And Sarah, you mentioned you don't have a lot of time. You don't find sewing takes up a lot of your time?
I do find it takes up a lot of my time.
Sure. Fair.
But which is why I don't do it a lot. And making an entire garment is not something that I do too often. But I do pick up the needle and thread or the sewing machine when my kids come home with a big hole in their pants. And so what I do is I do visible mending. I put a patch in it, but now the patch is flowers and embroidered. And so I get that enrichment. I get to do this creative outlet, and my kids get to have their clothes for a few weeks longer.
And stand out as well. Oh, I love it. And so you're going to get back to your sewing there, are you?
Yeah, the machine is still on. It's still hot.
I love it.
That's so great, Sarah. Thank you very much.
Have fun.
Absolutely.
Three projects on the go there.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, so you've got a couple of examples there.
Yeah, so I pulled out this as she was talking. This is a pair of my son's jeans, and he got a hole in them.
Yes.
And so I patched them up, and the spiders on it, I get my son to draw out what he would like on his pants. And so I patch up the hole, and then I put...
Oh my goodness.
I put his design on it, and then I do a bit of sachiko in the back just to hold it all together. And so it's fun because it connects him and I together. He gets to design his project with me.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool. So you've got spiders and spider webs and a spider crawling down.
Yeah, black widows.
Black widows. That is very, very cool. Also, I'm just like, those are tiny jeans. They're just adorable.
Yeah, he's 7.
Oh my goodness. And so, yeah, it's parents as well, right? Being able to extend the life of your kids' clothes.
Because sometimes I buy these jeans from the thrift store and they have holes in them. And so I will purchase them because it's easy for me to fix them up.
I like that term too, visible mending.
Yes.
So you're not trying to hide it.
No. Yeah.
That's like when I do it because it's very obvious that it's been hand sewn.
It's good though.
Yes, 604-669-3733, 1-800-825-5950. Do you love sewing? Have you taken it up recently? Love to hear from you. There is a resurgence in sewing, part of the kind of slow fashion trend, sustainability, affordability concerns. So people are taking it up. 604-669-3733. Kath is calling us now from lovely Gibsons. I was just there a couple of weeks ago. Hi, Kath.
Hi, how are you?
I am fine. And so you're a big sewer, are you?
I've sewn for a very long time. I'm quite elderly. My grandmother taught me how to sew. My first machine was a hand-cranked one that she taught me, then a treadle, then a machine. And I've sewn clothes for years. And all sorts of things. And I taught my granddaughters how to sew.
Oh, how old are they?
Well, 15 and 17. So I started teaching them at 5.
Oh, awesome.
And on machine. And we, all through the years, designed and made their Halloween costumes. And now both of them are very competent sewers. One of them actually thrifts all the time. And I've taught them, you look for really good material. So they walk around squeezing, and I go, no polyester, no polyester. and so they're now both of them like to sew, and they go into thrift stores and upscale things and upstyle things. So I think it's a wonderful skill to pass on.
Absolutely. And do they tell you, how they feel having been able to make something for themselves, and being able to wear something that's unique?
They really like it, and they've made some really interesting things. I said, even going back to Halloween costumes, right? And
Yeah.
yep, they make a lot of their own things, and as I say, they're both thrifters, so they walk around looking for good material and good clothes. And in Gibson's, we have in our local mall, we have a small storefront for teens who go in and do fabric art and a lot of sewing.
Oh, wow.
And they upscale all sorts of great thrift stores. We've got a couple of really good thrift stores, well, 3 of them on the Sunshine Coast.
Lovely. Kath, thank you so much. Way to pass that on, that skill, certainly to your grandchildren. Aubrey is next in Vancouver now. Hi, Aubrey.
Hey, how you doing?
I am well. And have you taken up sewing yourself?
Yeah, I guess I started sewing, as a kid. My mom taught me. I learned in 4-H, and then eventually I took a class at VCC to learn how to sew with an industrial sewing machine.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so first I'll ask you, have you seen this kind of rise in interest in sewing as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually teach community workshops to folks in Vancouver at one of the field houses where we offer mending nights and sewing. And yeah, we've just seen a range of, folks coming in all ages. And yeah, there's an interest.
Yeah. What are you hearing from them? I imagine the same thing that Marianne's been hearing as well. But yeah, what are you hearing?
Yeah, I think people are interested in trying to repair the clothes that they already have and think about, how can they make those clothes that they already have better, but also just thinking about the customization of when you create your own, shirt or pair of pants, there's just so much, value in wearing something that you've made, and it really feels good. And so I think that's what I see. People are excited to know a little bit about the material they're wearing, to craft, use their hands and craft something. And
yeah,
it's been really inspiring.
And these are community workshops that you teach?
Yeah, I'm doing a residency with the city of Vancouver. They have these field houses that are across the city, and I do mending and sewing workshops at the Slow Can Field House.
Cool.
That's
okay.
very cool.
That is really cool. Aubrey, thank you very much. Is there a sense of community that people
I was
feel
just
so?
going to say
Yeah.
that there is. So our Social Fabric has hosted some visible mending workshops, and one of them, when we got together, this group of people, we barely started our projects because everybody just wanted to talk about sewing and what they're creating, and it was quite beautiful. And I realized that there's a big aspect of just communities and connecting with each other. And I think COVID was a long time ago, but still, I think everybody really values these in-person get-togethers and this slow process of working with your hands and chatting, and it's quite beautiful. I really love I love sewing, so I
Yeah.
love being involved in these.
Right. And people love to talk about it too.
They do.
Because look at our call list. It just keeps growing. Dio is calling us from Kitimat. Have I got that right, Dio?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for calling in. You run a tailoring business, is that right?
I'm actually a pharmacy technician by trade, but since the pandemic, I didn't go back to work.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so you started a new business.
I did, out of my home. I have a sewing studio, and there was a need. We had no one in town that could just do simple, even put a button on.
Oh, really? Okay.
So,
and go ahead. Tell me how this all
everybody
happened for you.
My mom used to do all the sewing. She had a grade 3 education from the old country, and she did everything by hand. Back in the 70s, we had Sears. You used to be able to order fabric from Sears,
right.
And everybody sewed. And it seems that it's a dying trade. We don't see it very often. Everybody wears clothing. Men, women, old, young, even homeless people wear clothing, I hope.
And so there is that need, as you say, right? Are you finding that people are kind of getting interested in doing it themselves as well?
Not so much like it used to be maybe 20, 30 years ago. But
Yeah.
I think with people looking to have a less carbon footprint, they're going to start bringing this trade back. It's a $7 billion actually I think it's $7 billion industry. That's 7 with 12 zeros behind it. It's huge globally.
Wow. And for yourself, so you already knew how to mend and sew and when you started your tailoring business?
Absolutely not. No, I'm self-taught. I learned from the internet, believe it or not.
You learned on the internet, on YouTube.
I did so. It's a great teacher. I can connect with people, mentors in the States. We can go on Zoom, and they can show me hand-to-hand first what they're doing if we need each other. It's a great industry. It's very busy. I think if 3 people were to open the exact same business here in our town, I wouldn't slow down one bit.
Right. Yeah. Wow. That's so great. You taught yourself. You're a pharmacy tech, but here's another career for you now, having learned this just online. Congratulations, Dio. Thanks so much for calling in.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. Farah is next in Vancouver now as well to talk about sewing. Hi, Farah.
Hi. How are you doing?
I am well. Thanks for calling in. And what do you want to say about sewing?
I just wanted to relate sewing. So I learned to sew from my grandma on one of the oldest sewing machines that probably there ever was. And I'm from a Pakistani background. And for me, sewing not only connects me to my history, like directly through my grandma, but a lot of the fabrics that I try to utilize are traditional fabrics that I'm trying to give a new modern interpretation to. I mean, I'm a very basic sewer, I don't know, but it's, I come from a part of the world where there is so many different beautiful, rich textile arts. There's such a rich history. There's so much expression of our culture through fabric. So to be able to utilize that and then turn it into something that, whether it's just sewing something onto an existing purse that gives it new life and can communicate that history and carry it with it, it's something so special. And then kind of related to that, talking about community, I got involved with Parents for Palestine, which is a great community here in Vancouver, learning the threes, which is the Palestinian art of embroidery. And it's a very specific cultural heritage that, again, tells stories. Each one of those stitches, the symbols that are in that embroidery tell a story. And to now be part of a new community, the progressive, kind of community through another textile art, it just speaks to how important all of these traditionally feminine, historically feminine arts, the community that builds around them. And I'm so happy to hear that there's a resurgence because, I've got 3 kids that I got to sew a lot for. So I'm glad to hear there's lots of resources that I can reach out to. But yeah, it's just a really beautiful, beautiful art.
That is so cool, Farah. Thank you very much. You're a busy sewist or sewer. Love that. The cultural connection.
I do too. I have this quilt that my grandmother made, and it's of all my mom's maternity clothes, which is just connecting me back to my mom and my grandmother, who fortunately are not with us anymore. So I cherish that blanket quite a lot.
I'm sure you do. Oh my goodness. I am going to squeeze in Nicole here in Comox. I don't have a lot of time, but I really want to hear from you, Nicole. So go ahead. Tell us what you're doing over in Comox.
Hi. Well, I own the school sewing studio in downtown Courtenay in the Comox Valley.
I've heard of you.
And I'm just coming up on 11 years of teaching people to sew. So I feel like maybe in the Comox Valley, we might have the highest per capita of people who know how to thread a sewing machine as a basis.
Ooh.
So what I've gotten to see over the past 11 years is an enormous amount of community that gathers around sewing. I teach people from age 7 to well into their 80s even. And in our adult classes, we'll have, someone who's 22 who's never sewn next to somebody who sewed their own wedding dress, but it's been 50 years, next to somebody who's sewing for their kids. And so there's this really beautiful, intergenerational connection that happens, and a lot of friendships that then move outside of the sewing studio. So it's become a really important third space where people can connect and then build much deeper relationships. So people connect and then they end up going on dog walks. They end up forming great friendships. And I know all of my best friends have come from this sewing space. They're all people I met through my business. And now we go on sewing retreats together. We go pick flowers together. We've We show up for each other when things are hard. And so, sewing is pretty incredible. You get to make clothes that fit your own body. You get to take time away from a screen where you're doing something with your hands. You get to make friends. Hobbies in general, I think, are probably the answer to a lot of the world's problems. But,
I agree.
It's a pretty incredible thing to get to be sort of a hub.
And that community is a big part of it, isn't it? Nicole, I'm so glad we got you on the show. Let me wrap up with this comment on TikTok, because I think this is a great little way to get us some tips from Marianne. Someone commented, I don't know how to sew because I'm too dumb to learn. Okay, what are your tips, Marianne, for someone starting out?
Well, first off, you are not too dumb to learn sewing. I think any skill is a learned trade, speaking as a teacher.
Yes.
I think the first thing I would recommend is take a poll of your friends, because I bet you have a seamstress in your midst and you have no idea that they've been hemming their pants. Maybe check to your friends that are maybe 5'2". They definitely have.
Yeah.
And start slow, make a bag. A tote bag's super easy. You can make it out of old bed sheets, old pillows, pillowcases rather. Just start simple and don't get frustrated. If you get frustrated when you first start sewing, just walk away, and also grab a buddy. Get somebody in your friend group that, find that friend that's going to teach the sewing, grab a buddy, and you two sit there and connect, drink some coffee, and create.
Yeah.
And have fun.
Make it enjoyable.
For me, it's my mental health way of dealing with mental health. I sew once a week, and I am a much better human because of it.
My sister-in-law is a teacher, and I complimented her the other day on these lovely pants. She said, I made them.
Of course.
So yeah, you just don't know who among you is.
No, we're hiding in plain sight.
That's right. So great to have you on the show. Thank you very much.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
And we have an email from someone, Ashley Val, writing, I have donated fabric to our social fabric. It is a fabulous organization. Thank you, Val. BC Today at cbc.ca. Marianne Webb is Director of Education and Community and Outreach at our social fabric. Lots of emails too. Victoria writes, I've just gotten inspired to pick up sewing again. Wasn't so good at it in high school, but I'm craving to doing something creative. I'm upcycling using men's jeans I got from the thrift store for maybe $5, adding side inserts made from old t-shirts to make wide leg pants. I bought wide leg jeans that I love, but I thought I'd try my hand at doing this. So great to hear all of your emails about sewing. BC Today at cbc.ca. I'm Michelle Elliott. Thanks for joining us on this show. Have a great afternoon. We'll talk tomorrow.